The Last Morning. Episode 2. 5 years after the sky broke. I want to tell you about a morning. Not a metaphor, not a symbol. An actual morning with actual light. The kind of light Kabul receives only in August, when the dust in the air catches the sun and turns everything gold, almost amber. I want you to picture the bread sellers at the corner of the street, their naans still warm from the tannoor. I want you to see the Hindu Kush, ancient, indifferent, standing exactly where it had always stood, enormous against the blue. Because on the morning of August 15, 2021, Kabul was still beautiful. And that is perhaps the cruelest part of the story. The city did not know what was about to happen to it. I had gone to sleep on the 14th believing the next day would arrive in the ordinary way. The radio had been warning us for weeks, provinces falling one by one, Herat gone, Kandahar next. But human beings have a particular refusal to believe that the worst is truly coming, even as its shadow crosses the threshold. We believed in the permanence of what we had built. 20 years is not nothing. 20 years felt like forever when you had grown up inside those years, when they had given you your education, your profession, your sense of what a future could look like. 20 years had made us careless with hope. Then the morning arrived, and Kabul went quiet in a way a city of 5.5 million people is not supposed to go quiet. The helicopters came first, American Blackhawks moving across the sky toward the embassy, their sound a low percussion against the silence below. And then the silence itself, which was more frightening than any noise. No traffic, no calls from the bazaar. Even the birds seemed to hesitate. I packed one bag. I have thought about that bag every day since. What do you take when you know you are leaving forever, even as some part of you insists you cannot possibly be leaving forever? I took documents, passport, university degrees, the paper evidence of a life I had built. I took a photograph of my family at Aid, everyone mid-laugh, the tablecloth still white. I did not take my books, though I stood before them for a long moment, running my fingers along the spines the way you touch the face of someone before a long separation. There was no room for books. There was barely room for grief. I walked through my neighborhood for what I understood, in some wordless, irreversible way, to be the last time. The apple and peach trees along the lane were heavy with fruit not yet ripe. They would ripen into autumn, and someone else would see them. A boy chased a yellow dog between two walls. A woman adjusted her headscarf in a doorway. These small eternities of ordinary life, happening in the last minutes before they could no longer happen freely. By afternoon, the news was confirmed. The president had fled. The government dissolved like sugar in water, quickly, without resistance, leaving only a sweetness that curdled almost immediately into something else. 2 decades of institutions, courts, universities, a constitution, a free press, the Afghan National Security Forces who had lost 60,000 of their own, all of it extinguished between dawn and dusk. Not in a final battle, not in a heroic last stand, in a matter of hours between one morning and the next. As I left the city, I turned back once. This is not a literary flourish. I actually turned back. I looked at the skyline, the minarets, the rooftops, the familiar silhouette of Kabul against those ancient mountains. I did not cry. There are forms of grief, so total, they sit below tears, in a place that has no name. I turned forward, and I did not stop walking. A city does not fall in a day. It falls over all the days that follow. And so, this is where I pause. Not because the story ends here, but because it continues. What you've heard is only the second chapter of a journey carried by millions. Follow this story in the next episode, where we continue to unearth the memories, the resilience, and the voices that refuse to be forgotten. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please subscribe to my channel, The Local Nexus, and share it with your network, because stories like these should never be buried under the dust and ashes of time.